Okay.
And welcome to the Barrel Buddies. I'm James.
I'm BJ, but this is a very special episode of the Barrel Buddies. This is the Barrel Buddies as we break down fantasy football, and joining us telephonically is the one, the only, and the owner of the Las Vegas Action.
Wow.
Chris Conrad. Welcome, Chris.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Clap. I'll do
This is our weekly wrap up, and I'm sorry we haven't been able to get you or our schedules lined up so that we could get you on and talk about what's going on in the fantasy world and the football world. But thanks for being able to join us, and we wanted to really delve in, talk about the last 2 weeks, and talk about what's coming up in this coming week of fantasy action. So before we jump in, how are you? How are you feeling? And how are our Las Vegas Action?
Las Vegas Action are doing fantastic. We are undefeated.
Oh,
that's right. Stan, just like your prediction, we are in line to win this first championship.
Hey, so what can you
up.
win? Can we talk about prizes, or that's not allowed to be discussed yet?
It's still the naming of the trophy is one of the things that we are voting on the Patreon site. So go ahead and come become a fan. You can help us name the trophy.
So on Patreon, do I just look up Yard of War and I can find you guys on there?
Yeah, the easiest way is to go to Yard of War at Twitter. You can go to @action_LAS or LAS. I'm sorry, for Las Vegas Action, or Yard of War, and both of them will have links to the Patreon site.
Awesome, great. So trophy. Now, do you have a losing award? I know some leagues, if you're the taco.
Again, that's another thing we're trying to vote on to see if we're going to do that. There's been talk of possibly doing a European-style relegation system. There's several things for the losers that are being talked about.
All right.
I want to jump in. You mentioned Europeans, and so I do want to just give a quick shout out. I think you do too, to our friends over the pond. Right? We have some friends over in the UK.
We have friends across the pond.
We do.
Yeah. At NFL UK Ops on Twitter.
One more time. I think I cut you off. Who was it?
At NFL UK Ops OPS on Twitter as well as YouTube. Like and subscribe for them as well as Barrel Buddies. But you're already liking and subscribing here. So
who are they? What is this group? Can you give a little detail?
They are a American football podcasting group out in the UK.
Well, cheers to our friends across the pond. Cheers.
They like real football, American football. So
the only football.
That's polarizing. They're the underdogs out there with UK football, and then our one and only real football.
I don't know. We've been sending over a couple of games a year, right? We've been doing a couple of games a year.
Yeah.
The NFL loves it, and they've expanded. I think they went from 1, 2, and now there's a handful more of games that are going to be.
I think this year they're also doing one in Germany, which
that's awesome. Tough on the team though, right? Do you think that impacts play when they have a London or Germany game? Do you check those players out for
you
jet lag?
But the defense and the offense both have to go through the same problems for both teams.
That's true.
So
I would think that they're like
fairly even.
They're like jacked up too, right? I mean, they're playing in a whole new place. It's a place where, it's like new to them, and they're all jacked up, whole new fan base.
It's traveling like 16 hours. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure they're in like the pods and they have like the beds or they're.
But at the same point, it's not like it's Major League Baseball traveling where you're in 3 cities in a week traveling and staying away from your house and everything. They play once a week. They go ahead 3-4 days ahead of time. And
that's fair.
Can get accumulated acclimated to the time.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. All right.
Well, I want to talk to you a little bit, and as do the fans. They really want to know what's going on, what's coming up for the week, what's going on with the trades. And we've got some things that have been launching out with Twitter. I think the first fan question that I saw is everybody's been talking. This is kind of a trending thing. Is this the beginning of the end for Joe Burrow in the NFL? I know it's only been 2 weeks, but have we really seen the best of him? What do you think?
How can you say that? Hold on. How can you throw that out there when the season really hasn't even like?
It's a question. They just want to know whether we've seen the best of Joe Burrow.
Has he
peaked last year? Is it going to be his best fantasy season last year?
Too soon to make that call.
I agree. Even with throwing 4 interceptions and having 5 turnovers week 1, 2 of those interceptions going for touchdowns the other way, I agree with you. He's got too much talent on that offensive line there. I mean, on that whole offensive side of the ball. So
yeah.
Okay. I want to get into somebody else though. I know that it was a little bit controversial, maybe for some people who don't quite understand Dynasty Fantasy. For those that are new to that term or unfamiliar, just keeping me honest, Dynasty is where you draft a player and you never have to redraft them. You keep them forever, right? So we're playing a Dynasty league.
Yeah. You keep them, you trade them. You're a GM for life. As long as they're in the league, they're on your team unless you trade them away.
So Josh Allen, number 1 pick. You heard it from us first. We were honored to give you that pick.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that? God, I hope you are.
He is number 4 overall in fantasy points. Doing very well. Our second round pick, his stack option, Stephon Diggs, is number 1 overall in fantasy. So we have 2 of the top 5 players in fantasy through 2 weeks.
Can we talk a little bit about, are there any, and maybe we want to give some nuggets to some of the viewers here. Are there any sleepers that have emerged over the past, few weeks here? So
one of the major trending players is Greg Dortch. He's a third-year wide receiver. He's with the Arizona Cardinals. He's
well, I don't know if you want to use that game. This past
he's
week.
Averaging 14 points a game through 2 games. That makes him wide receiver 22, and he's owned in like 17% of leagues. And before last week, it was like 1% of leagues.
Oh wow! So maybe there you go. What's his name again? George Dortch.
Greg Dortch.
Or Greg Dortch.
Greg Dortch. Yeah,
Greg
he came
Dortch.
out. He came out swinging like. There's somebody that you just
hold
need
on,
to throw
hold on.
on
We're
there.
just gonna glaze over that Raiders game.
Well, I think
we don't
Raiders
like to
came
talk
out
about that
and
in Las
ended in true
Vegas.
form.
There is one undefeated and one winless team in Las Vegas.
The
I'm a fan
Raiders.
of the undefeated.
The undefeated. There you go. I love it.
Also, so one of the new things in fantasy football is to try to create the best playoff experiences and get the best teams in there, because unlike real football, you don't truly have 2 sides. Yes, we start a defense, but your defense isn't stopping the other team. So there are times where you could be the number 2 scoring team of the week, and yet you go up against the number 1 scoring team that week, and you would have beat every other team in the league, and you still get a loss. So one of the new things is the median average score. If you score above the median average, you also get a win. If you score underneath it, you also get a loss. So each week there's 2 wins and 2 losses up for grabs.
Wait. So if I'm understanding that right, so you guys have already won. The Las Vegas Action has already won their first 2 games, undefeated. Under that, does that mean that you've won your next 2 games?
Both weeks.
Does that mean you've won your next 2 games? Does that mean you got your next you're 4-0?
We are 4-0. However, at the end of the season, there'll be double the amount of wins out there.
I see.
It
Okay.
doesn't mean that I get a bye the next 2 weeks or anything.
Okay.
We scored the second most points both weeks, so we are above the median average in each week, which means we get an additional win. But this past week, we went against a team that also scored above it. They gave us a scare, and Stephon Diggs came up big for us on Monday night with 3 touchdowns and scoring 44.8 points to give us that win.
All right, so how do you get that second L though? How do you get a second loss? Does that mean you just scored like 10 points?
If you're playing a team, if you scored less than the median average, you get an L. So
Okay.
There are teams that were out there that were like the 8th best team versus the 10th best team. And the 8th best team that ended up winning got a 1-1 record that week, and the 10th best team got an 0-2 record.
Ah, I
Ouch.
got it.
Ouch. Okay.
That would be me, 10th place.
Well, that's what your last couple of seasons of fantasy look like. I want to talk. So, as a dynasty, trading is so big. So it's still early in the season, but is the Las Vegas action? Have you guys been seeing any trades? I know a big part of Yard of War is getting the Patreon members in to vote on and help you understand some of the trades they want to see as fans. Have you been seeing some trades come? Is there anything up on the trade block that you guys are voting on right now?
We are working on a trade right now. It is in the early stages. We are acting as GMs in the NFL, like an NFL GM. We're always on the phone. We're always evaluating our assets and other teams' assets. We did just complete a trade this past week. We acquired the Dak Prescott, CMC, Christian McCaffrey, Cooper Rush, a 2024 second-round pick, and a 2025 first-round pick.
Oh, padding that future.
So we did have to give up Carson Wentz, who's producing phenomenally.
I mean, he's having an okay season for first 2 weeks.
A.J. Brown, a target hog for the 2-0 Philadelphia Eagles.
Old.
Ramondre Stevenson, who's a bust of a running back for New England. And the only first-round rookie quarterback from this past draft, Kenny Pickett.
Okay, you know what though? I think you came out okay. I think that you've got a little high risk, a little high reward, right? I think that you and I were even talking.
We did take a couple of injury-prone players that are first and second round startup draft style players that go very high in every draft, whether it's redraft or dynasty, and we have them for the long haul now. So
yeah, CMC. I mean, come on, who can resist picking him up if you're even in a typical league? On our
Patreon site, I'm going to need some help on these votes. This week we are going against the 3-1 Philadelphia Fight. So it's they're the ranked 3 team, I believe. No, I'm sorry, 4th ranked team. We are number 2 overall. I think we're 2 points behind the leader in overall points.
Okay.
That makes me. I crave a Philly cheesesteak now that you mentioned Philly.
So they do have some good players. They have Perk, the quarterback for Philadelphia. They have JT, running back for Indianapolis. They have Nick Chubb, who's the #1 running back this year so far in points. Wide receivers like Mike Williams. So it's going to be a tough fight, and I'm going to need some votes on those flex positions and whatnot. So far, my Las Vegas Action Nights have been 100% on picking the best choice for our flex positions.
Nice.
Need to keep it up. So,
all right, cool. Yeah. Well, so guys, look into the comments below and in the description of the video.
We'll have their Patreon link.
You'll check out the Patreon link. Don't forget to go and vote for those.
Yeah, you got to join up first. Join up and then start voting with these guys, right?
Yeah,
so.
this is get in on the action.
And what I like about it too is that it feels like you're part of the action. Like, I don't mean that like that's part of the slogan or whatever. No, but like it feels like you're involved, right? So anybody can do it.
Well, and on top of just being a part of the Las Vegas Action family and be winners there as well, you can ask your sit questions, your trade questions, and all of us will assist you in those as well.
Oh, that's great. That's even better than you're getting like free advice, basically. Like,
yeah, good community there
on your own team. That is a good community. So great. All right.
I got a couple of quick disappointment questions for you.
What do you got?
Just watching the games this last weekend, I can only imagine these are huge disappointments in the fantasy world. Let's stick with the QBs and let's talk Trubisky with the Steelers. What is up with him and his performance?
Did we expect anything out of him, really?
I kind of did.
Didn't he come from the Bears? Wasn't he on the Bears before this?
He's yeah, but name the last good Bears QB. I'm waiting.
We all are.
Exactly. They're not known for making QBs. They're known for great defenses and good running games.
Fair. That's
so
fair.
Trubisky, I thought he was going to have a better year than he's shown. He is quickly losing his job, I believe, to Pickett. There was a point where I thought Ritter in Atlanta was going to be the first and maybe the only of the rookie quarterbacks to get a shot this year. But it's looking more and more like Kenny Pickett's going to get his shot first.
All right. And here's going to be maybe a controversial thing to say, especially after that stellar performance we just watched by the Buffalo Bills on Monday night. What is up with their running backs?
I don't know. We have Singletary on our team, and he looks like the best of them as a overall one, but they just don't feed their running backs. I guess they just like Josh Allen running the ball.
Just going to say Josh Allen is their number one running back, right?
Yeah, you would think with a plus 55 point differential through 2 games, winning by 27.5 points, that they would feed their running backs a lot more and kill some clock and whatnot. They don't seem to be.
I mean, what is this? Stubborn coaches?
So.
Like what's going on here?
I think they just trust Josh Allen's decision making more than they trust their running backs to pick up yardage right now.
All right.
Yeah, he's incredible. And again, it just goes back to
you got to be careful with
usage.
You got to be careful with usage, and we all know injuries creep up on players. And
he's a horse, but and he's a big body human, but we at Las Vegas Action don't want him wearing down either. We want him there being as good as he is for the next 10, 12 years. So
exactly.
All right. And last but not least, while we wrap this up, who's your predictions for who's going to finish in the NFL, not in Yard of War? We know our Yard of War prediction is a perfect season, the Las Vegas Action. But who is your prediction in the NFL for a 16-0 and an 0-16 season?
I mean, 16-0 is tough, but my prediction is probably the easier one. The Bills just look unstoppable so far. They're continuing on what they did last year, and they look like a freight train not ready to be stopped by anything.
They look so good. Agreed.
And on the other side, I would like to say it's an Atlanta-style team, but it's probably the Tennessee Titans.
I was going to say Tennessee.
They just look like they don't know what their team makeup is. Atlanta doesn't either, but they've been playing hard with heart. They're 0-2, but have a 5-point differential. They lost by, I think, 1-4 or 2-3. I can't remember what it was, but they're in the game. Tennessee is just looks like they're ready to play ever. So those would be my predictions for 16-0 and 0-16. My 2 picks I know we were talking disappointments. My most disappointing picks so far through this season are Kyle Pitts. He's got 4 catches through 2 games for 38 yards.
Ooh.
And was being taken as the number 1 tight end overall. I really like his future stock. He might be a buy low candidate for a lot of leagues out there. I don't believe he's going to continue on at a 4 catch for 38 yards in 2 games pace.
Okay.
Also, Matt Ryan, I know his age is up there, but he's got too talented of a team around him to continue on he's got 13 points, fantasy points as a QB through 2 weeks. That's terrible.
I'll tell you who my most
13
disappointing.
points per week, 13 points total.
No, that's terrible. It is much worse than who I thought you were going to say, who I have just been super mad about, and that is the GOAT. He's looked terrible. He looks bad after 2 weeks.
He doesn't have all of his weapons yet either, but there's not the excuse there that he doesn't have any, because he does have some still. So
well, obviously, because Tampa Bay is 2-0. They've got a winning season so far, but God,
this week his top 3 wide receivers are all probably not playing. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Julio Jones are probably all 3 going to be scratched this week.
Ooh, so that's a sit-em. I like it.
So,
All right. Well, thanks for checking in with us. We're going to get back
Good.
to you next week. Hopefully, we'll get our schedules wrapped back
for
a wrought iron wrap up for your fantasy picks.
Isn't it the gridiron? Wrought
Yeah.
iron is like a wrought iron fence.
Yeah, I messed that up.
That
We'll
is-
edit that.
that is
in.
accurate.
The gridiron.
We'll make.
Hey, we
we'll make
appreciate
sense.
your support. We all love you guys in the Barrel Buddies. We appreciate the support for the Yard of War.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you guys and your fans that come over and listen to us. And look at that. We have our
Barrel
representation right there. It's looking good.
For the Barrel Buddies,
I'm James.
I'm BJ, and our special guest tonight,
Chris Conrad.
All
of the Las
right.
Vegas Action.
All right.
Go Action. We'll see
Go
you next
Action.
week.
Bye-bye.